Are you over 60 and absolutely exhausted from swallowing handful after handful of expensive pills every single morning? You know what I'm talking about, that little pharmacy you've got lined up on your kitchen counter, costing you hundreds of dollars every month, and yet you still wake up feeling stiff, tired, and uncomfortable? Or maybe you're sitting there watching someone you deeply love, your mom, your dad, your grandmother. And your heart just breaks a little more each day as you see them struggling with pain, constantly reaching for another medication, another doctor's appointment, another copay that drains their fixed income? You feel helpless, don't you? You want to help so badly, but modern medicine seems to have an expensive answer for everything except actually making them feel genuinely better. Well, what if I told you, and I want you to really listen to this. What if I told you that right now, sitting in your kitchen cabinet, probably right next to your salt and sugar, there's something that costs less than $1, less than what you'd spend on a candy bar, that could potentially help address not one, not two, but 8 different health problems that are making life miserable for millions of seniors every single day. Here's the thing that just breaks my heart, and I know it breaks yours too. As we get older, our bodies start this slow rebellion against us. The acid builds up, inflammation creeps in like an unwelcome visitor, our kidneys start working overtime just to keep up, and suddenly we're dealing with this cascade of problems that seem to multiply faster than we can solve them. It steals our energy, our comfort, our joy in simple everyday moments. But here's what the medical industry doesn't want you to know, and what your own grandparents and great-grandparents knew instinctively. There were simple, natural solutions that worked for generations before we got convinced that every problem needed a prescription. These weren't old wives' tales, these were time-tested remedies that actually helped people feel better without emptying their wallets or filling their bodies with chemicals they couldn't even pronounce. Today, I'm going to share one of those forgotten secrets with you. Something so simple, so inexpensive, that it almost seems too good to be true. But I promise you, by the time we're done here, you're going to understand exactly why this remedy worked for our ancestors and how it can work for you or your loved one today. Now, before you get too excited and run to your kitchen, listen carefully. By the end of this video, you're going to discover exactly how to prepare baking soda water the right way, and I emphasize, right way, because there absolutely is a wrong way that could actually be harmful to your health. I'm going to walk you through the precise measurements, the exact timing, and the specific method that makes all the difference between success and disappointment. You'll learn about 8 specific health problems that this simple remedy can help address. Problems like chronic heartburn that keeps you up at night, joint pain that makes getting out of bed feel like climbing a mountain, energy levels so low that you can barely make it through the afternoon, and digestive issues that make every meal feel like a gamble. But more importantly, I'm going to share 3 critical warnings with you. These are the mistakes that most people make when they try this on their own, and they could save you from making a costly, or even dangerous, error. Because while this remedy is natural, natural doesn't always mean harmless if you don't know what you're doing. If you're here because you're tired of watching someone you love suffer needlessly, or because you're ready to take control of your own health naturally and safely, I want you to comment, "Ready to learn," right below this video. Let me know you're here, let me know you're committed to learning something that could genuinely change everything. And if this is your first time visiting Elderly Health Central, welcome to our family. Hit that subscribe button right now, because we're building something special here, a community of people who refuse to accept that aging has to mean suffering, who believe that our seniors deserve to live their golden years with comfort, dignity, and hope. We're going to explore natural, safe, time-tested approaches that work alongside modern medicine, not against it. Because here's what I believe with every fiber of my being: you deserve to feel good in your own body, no matter what your age says on your driver's license. Problem number 1, heartburn and acid reflux. Let's dive right into the first problem that's probably affecting someone you know right this very moment. Picture this scene, and I bet it's going to feel painfully familiar. There's an 82-year-old grandmother who used to be the heart and soul of every family gathering. She'd spend hours in the kitchen preparing these elaborate, beautiful dinners that brought everyone together. The whole house would smell like heaven, and she'd beam with pride watching her family enjoy every single bite. But now? Now she absolutely dreads mealtime. Every single bite she takes leads to this burning, searing chest pain that radiates up through her throat and keeps her tossing and turning all night long. Her family sits around the dinner table watching helplessly as their beloved matriarch pushes food around on her plate, afraid to eat the very meals she once loved preparing. The medicine cabinet in her bathroom looks like a small pharmacy, expensive antacids, prescription medications, bottles and bottles of pills that promise relief but never quite deliver. Here's what's really happening in her body, and this is going to make so much sense once you understand it. As we get older, that protective lining in our stomach starts to weaken, almost like armor that's been worn down by years of battle. At the same time, our stomach's acid production becomes completely irregular, sometimes too much, sometimes too little, but rarely just right. It's like having a thermostat that's gone haywire. Now, baking soda, which is just sodium bicarbonate, acts like nature's perfect antacid. It swoops in and neutralizes that excess stomach acid almost instantly, like pouring water on a fire. But here's the beautiful part. Unlike those commercial antacids that can contain aluminum or create this terrible cycle of dependency where you need more and more to get the same relief, baking soda provides gentle, natural, temporary relief without all those scary side effects. I know what you're thinking. Come on, baking soda? That sounds too old-fashioned, too simple. Many people dismiss it thinking heartburn is just an inevitable part of getting older, so they pop antacids like they're candy. But the truth is, when used correctly, baking soda is often more effective than those expensive over-the-counter options that are draining your wallet. Here's exactly how that grandmother turned her life around. She mixed just 1/4 teaspoon of pure baking soda, and I emphasize pure, not baking powder, in 4 ounces of room-temperature water. She'd drink it slowly, really slowly, about 30 minutes after eating, never ever on a full stomach because that can actually make things worse. Within days, she was back at the dinner table, laughing with her family, enjoying every bite. Her medicine cabinet went from looking like a pharmacy to having just the essentials. But heartburn relief? That's just the beginning. The second problem baking soda addresses might absolutely surprise you. And it's something that affects nearly half of all seniors. Problem number 2, high blood pressure support. Now, I want you to think about someone you care about who's dealing with this silent killer. Maybe it's a 75-year-old retired teacher who spent decades shaping young minds, who should be enjoying his golden years reading books, traveling, spending time with grandchildren. But instead, he's frustrated beyond belief with his blood pressure medications and their endless side effects. Every morning, he wakes up dizzy from the pills. He's constantly tired, dragging himself through each day like he's walking through quicksand. The doctor visits never seem to end, adjustments to this medication, trying that medication, more blood tests, more co-pays, more worry. His adult children watch this man who raised them with such strength and wisdom now seeming fragile and defeated by a medicine cabinet full of prescriptions they can't even pronounce. But then he started doing his own research, because teachers never stop learning, right? And he discovered something absolutely fascinating about sodium bicarbonate and how it affects kidney function. This is where it gets really interesting, so stay with me. When our kidneys start struggling to filter acid from our blood, and this happens to most seniors as these hardworking organs age, our blood pressure naturally starts to climb. It's like your kidneys are working overtime, desperately trying to keep up with a job that's getting harder and harder every day. Baking soda steps in like a helpful assistant, helping to restore your body's pH balance and reducing that overwhelming workload on your kidneys. When your kidneys don't have to work so hard to manage acid levels, they can focus on what they do best, keeping your blood pressure in a healthier range. Some studies suggest this simple intervention can make a genuinely measurable difference in blood pressure readings. Now, I know what you're worried about. But wait, doesn't baking soda contain sodium? Won't that make my blood pressure worse? This is exactly what most people think, and it's completely understandable. But here's the thing, while monitoring is absolutely important, and you should never do this without talking to your doctor first. The small amount used therapeutically often helps far more than it hurts, especially when it's actually improving your kidney function. This retired teacher started with just 1/8 teaspoon in 8 ounces of water, once daily, preferably in the morning. He monitored his blood pressure closely and worked hand in hand with his doctor every step of the way. Within 3 weeks, his numbers started improving. Now, results vary for everyone, and this isn't a magic cure, but it gave him something he hadn't had in years, hope and a sense of control over his own health. Speaking of kidneys, the third problem is directly connected to kidney health, and it's something that affects an enormous number of seniors, especially women. Problem number 3, kidney function and UTI prevention. If you're a woman over 65, or if you're caring for one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me paint you a picture that's going to break your heart but also give you hope. An elderly woman suffered through recurring urinary tract infections for months and months. Every few weeks, it was the same nightmare: burning, pain, urgent trips to the bathroom, sleepless nights, and then the dreaded trip to the doctor for another round of antibiotics. Her daughter felt absolutely helpless watching this cycle repeat over and over. The antibiotics would help temporarily, giving them both a brief moment of relief, but inevitably, the infection would come roaring back like an unwelcome visitor who just won't leave. Together, this mother and daughter became determined detectives, researching everything they could find. And that's when they discovered something that changed everything, that changing her body's pH might be the key to breaking this exhausting, painful pattern that was stealing her quality of life. Here's the science that's going to blow your mind. Bacteria, the bad kind that cause UTIs, absolutely thrive in acidic environments. They love it. It's like a 5-star resort for harmful bacteria. But when you alkalize your urine through careful baking soda consumption, you're literally creating conditions where these harmful bacteria struggle to survive and multiply. It's like changing the environment from a bacteria paradise to a place they simply don't want to be. But that's not all. Proper pH balance supports your overall kidney function, helping these incredibly important organs filter waste more effectively. When your kidneys are working optimally, your whole body feels the difference. Now, here's where most people get it wrong. Many believe cranberry juice alone prevents UTIs, and while cranberry juice can be helpful for some people, for many seniors, actually reducing the acidity in their system is far more effective. Others think all bacteria are bad, but we're specifically targeting the harmful strains while supporting the beneficial bacteria your body needs. This woman started mixing 1/4 teaspoon in 6 ounces of water, drinking it between meals, never with food, never exceeding this amount without medical supervision. She combined this with proper hygiene and stayed in close communication with her doctor. It's been 6 months now, and she hasn't had a single UTI. 6 months of freedom from that constant fear and pain. Now, here's where things get really interesting. The fourth problem affects nearly every senior you know, but it's rarely connected to pH balance in most people's minds. Problem number 4, joint pain and inflammation. This one's personal for so many families. Picture a once active grandfather who used to build tree houses, fix everything that broke in the house, and chase grandchildren around the backyard. But arthritis pain began stealing his independence, piece by painful piece. His family watched with breaking hearts as simple tasks, opening a jar of pickles, climbing the stairs to his bedroom, even buttoning his shirt, became mountains to climb. Every movement was calculated, every step was cautious. This man who had built their family home with his own 2 hands was now struggling to hold a coffee cup without wincing. Then his physical therapist mentioned something about inflammation and body chemistry that changed everything for this entire family. And I want you to understand this connection because it could change everything for you too. Chronic inflammation doesn't just happen out of nowhere. It thrives in acidic body conditions, like weeds that grow wild in the wrong kind of soil. When our internal pH becomes too acidic, which is incredibly common as we age and our diets become less optimal. Inflammatory markers throughout our body start increasing. It's like setting off tiny alarm bells in every joint, every muscle, every organ. Baking soda helps restore that crucial alkaline balance, potentially reducing inflammatory responses throughout your entire body, including in those aching joints that make life so difficult. Think of it as changing the soil conditions so that inflammation simply can't take root and flourish the way it has been. Most people think inflammation only comes from obvious things like injury or infection. But the truth is, metabolic acidosis, having too much acid in your body, contributes to chronic inflammation that affects not just joints, but muscles and organs throughout your entire system. This grandfather learned to combine 1/4 teaspoon baking soda with 8 ounces of water, and here's the interesting part, he adds a squeeze of fresh lemon. I know that sounds completely counterintuitive, like fighting fire with fire, but lemon actually becomes alkaline when it's metabolized by your body. He drinks this mixture about 2 hours after meals, giving his body time to digest food properly first. Today, this grandfather is back in his garden, planting vegetables and flowers. He's playing with his grandchildren again, building memories instead of nursing pain. The change didn't happen overnight, but it happened consistently, day by day. If joint pain surprised you, wait until you hear about the 5th problem. It's connected to energy levels and affects roughly 80% of seniors in some form. Problem number 5, chronic fatigue and energy depletion. This one's going to hit close to home for so many of you. She used to be the energetic grandmother who organized every single family gathering, birthday parties, holiday dinners, weekend barbecues. She was the glue that held everyone together, the one who remembered every birthday, sent every card, made sure no one felt forgotten. But by age 78, she could barely make it through lunch without needing a nap. Her family watched as this vibrant woman who had raised children, managed a household, and worked full-time for decades was now struggling to stay awake during their Sunday visits. They assumed it was just age, that magical explanation that seems to excuse every problem seniors face. But her children refused to watch her fade away without fighting for her. That's when they learned about cellular energy and pH balance, and everything started making sense. Here's what's happening inside your body when you feel that crushing, constant fatigue that no amount of sleep seems to fix. Cellular energy production, the process that literally keeps you alive and functioning, requires optimal pH levels to work properly. When your blood becomes too acidic, your cells start struggling to produce ATP, which is your body's energy currency. Think of ATP as the gasoline that powers every single function in your body. When production slows down because of pH imbalance, you get that persistent, bone-deep fatigue that makes even simple tasks feel overwhelming. This creates a vicious cycle. You're tired, so you're less active. You're less active, so your body becomes more acidic. You become more acidic, so you're more tired. Round and round it goes, stealing your vitality day by day. Most people dismiss fatigue as normal aging, accepting exhaustion as inevitable. But fatigue is often a sign of metabolic imbalance, not an unavoidable part of getting older. Simple interventions can help restore the vitality you thought was gone forever. This grandmother started taking 1/4 teaspoon in water first thing in the morning, 30 minutes before breakfast. Consistency became her secret weapon. She noticed increased energy after just 5 days, not boundless energy, but that steady, reliable energy that lets you live your life instead of just surviving it. After 3 weeks, she was back to planning family events, making phone calls to check on everyone, being the grandmother her family remembered and loved. Energy isn't the only thing that improves when you balance your pH. The 6th problem might be the most important for long-term health and something that affects far more seniors than anyone realizes. Problem number 6, digestive issues and nutrient absorption. This story is going to shock you because it shows how we can eat perfectly and still be starving our bodies. Despite eating 3 healthy, well-balanced meals every single day, an elderly man's doctor delivered news that left his wife speechless. He was malnourished. How could someone who never missed a meal, who ate vegetables and lean protein and whole grains, who followed every dietary guideline, be lacking essential nutrients? His wife couldn't wrap her mind around it. She'd spent decades making sure her family ate well, and now her husband's blood work was showing deficiencies in vitamins and minerals despite all her careful meal planning. The answer lay in his digestive system's ability to actually absorb what he was eating. And this is happening to millions of seniors who have no idea their bodies aren't getting the nutrition they think they're providing. As we age, our stomach acid production often decreases significantly. Now, this creates a really confusing situation because many seniors also experience acid reflux, which makes them think they have too much acid. But here's the paradox: you can have acid reflux and insufficient digestive acid at the same time. It's like having a car that backfires but doesn't have enough fuel to run properly. When you don't have adequate stomach acid, your body simply cannot break down and absorb vitamins and minerals effectively. You could eat the most perfect diet in the world, but if your digestive system can't extract the nutrients, you might as well be eating cardboard. Proper pH balance throughout your digestive tract ensures that vitamins and minerals are absorbed effectively. Baking soda, when used correctly and at the right times, can help optimize this process. It's not about suppressing acid production, it's about creating balance and harmony in your digestive system. This man learned to take 1/8 teaspoon with meals when experiencing bloating or indigestion, but not every single day because your body needs those natural cycles. Within 2 months of optimizing his digestive pH and working with his doctor to monitor his progress, his nutrient levels normalized. His energy improved, his thinking became clearer, and his wife finally saw her husband returning to the man she'd married decades ago. Nutrient absorption affects far more than just physical health. It impacts the seventh problem that silently affects cognitive function and strikes fear into the hearts of aging adults and their families. Problem number 7, brain fog and cognitive clarity. This one's going to bring tears to your eyes, but it's also going to give you hope. A 72-year-old woman who had been sharp as a tack her entire life began experiencing something that terrified her and her family. She started forgetting familiar recipes she'd made hundreds of times. She'd lose track of conversations halfway through. Words that used to come easily now felt stuck on the tip of her tongue. Her adult children watched in growing alarm as their sharp, witty mother, the woman who had balanced checkbooks, managed family schedules, and solved everyone's problems with wisdom and humor, seemed to be slipping away from them. The fear that haunts every aging family began creeping in. Was this the beginning of dementia? But her memory issues weren't what the family expected. They weren't connected to the devastating diseases that rob people of their minds. Instead, they were connected to something much more treatable, much more hopeful. Your brain function depends absolutely on optimal blood pH and oxygen delivery. Your brain is incredibly sensitive, more sensitive than any other organ in your body, to pH changes. When your blood becomes too acidic, cognitive function can decline dramatically. It's like trying to think clearly while your brain is operating in a fog. Memory formation, focus, mental clarity, all of these depend on your brain receiving proper oxygen and operating in the right chemical environment. When pH balance is restored, many people experience improvements in mental clarity that they thought were gone forever. Here's what most people don't realize. Memory problems are automatically attributed to dementia or normal aging. Families spend sleepless nights worrying about nursing homes and lost independence. But while serious cognitive issues absolutely need medical evaluation, some brain fog actually stems from correctable metabolic imbalances. This woman started taking 1/4 teaspoon in water every other morning, never on consecutive days because her body needed time to process and respond. Her family noticed improvements in conversation and daily functioning within 3 weeks. She wasn't suddenly 30 years old again, but she was herself again. The recipes came back, the conversations flowed naturally, and the fear that had gripped her family began to lift. The final problem ties everything together and might be the most important reason to consider this simple remedy that's been hiding in your kitchen cabinet. Problem number 8, overall immune system support. During every single cold and flu season, an 85-year-old man seemed to catch absolutely everything that was going around while his family stayed perfectly healthy. His immune system appeared to be weakened by age, but his daughter, a retired nurse who understood that aging doesn't mean accepting every illness that comes along, wondered if there was more to this story than just getting older. She refused to accept that constant illness was inevitable for her father. Every winter became a nightmare of worry. While everyone else might get a minor cold, he'd develop bronchitis. A simple flu would knock him down for weeks. His daughter watched helplessly as her strong, independent father became afraid to go out during cold season, afraid to hug his great-grandchildren, afraid to live his life because his body couldn't seem to fight off even the simplest infections. Here's the connection that most people never make. Immune function is closely tied to pH balance. An overly acidic internal environment can suppress your immune response, making you more susceptible to infections and dramatically slower to recover. Your immune cells, the soldiers that fight off viruses and bacteria, simply don't function optimally in an acidic environment. When proper alkaline balance is restored, it supports immune cell function and your body's natural defense mechanisms. Think of it as creating the perfect environment for your immune system to do what it was designed to do: protect you. Most people accept weakened immunity as inevitable with aging. They buy into the idea that getting older automatically means getting sick more often and taking longer to recover. While some immune decline is natural as we age, pH imbalance unnecessarily compromises immune function far beyond what age alone would cause. This man started using 1/4 teaspoon in water 3 times per week, never on consecutive days because consistency doesn't mean daily when it comes to this remedy. His daughter tracked his health carefully, and the results spoke for themselves. This senior has had fewer infections this year than in the previous 3 years combined. He's back to hugging his great-grandchildren, back to living his life instead of hiding from it. Now, before you rush to your kitchen cabinet to try this, there are 3 crucial warnings you absolutely must understand. These could save you from making a costly or even dangerous mistake. I need to pause here for a moment because I know what you're feeling right now. If you're watching this video, it means you're either struggling with these issues yourself, or you're watching someone you deeply love go through them. And that weighs on your heart every single day, doesn't it? I know what it's like to feel overwhelmed when a loved one is struggling with multiple health issues. You want to help so desperately, but modern medicine can seem so complicated, so expensive, so focused on treating symptoms rather than addressing the root causes. You're drowning in copays and prescription bottles, and you're still watching someone you care about suffer. It's completely natural to feel drawn to simple solutions that promise relief, especially when everything else has failed to give you the results you're hoping for. You're not naive for wanting something simpler. You're not foolish for looking beyond the traditional medical system that sometimes feels like it's designed to keep you coming back rather than actually making you feel better. Your instincts are telling you there has to be another way, and those instincts are absolutely right. But I need to be completely honest with you about something that most YouTube videos, most health blogs, most well-meaning advice givers won't tell you, because they're more interested in views than in your safety. Baking soda can be dangerous if used incorrectly. I'm not saying this to scare you away from something that could genuinely help. I'm saying this because I care about you and your loved ones, and I want you to succeed safely. First warning, and this is absolutely crucial: never, ever exceed 1/4 teaspoon per day without direct medical supervision. I don't care how good you're feeling, I don't care how much you think more would be better. Too much baking soda can cause something called alkalosis, which is essentially the opposite problem from what we're trying to solve. Your body can become too alkaline, and that creates a whole new set of dangerous problems including muscle spasms, nausea, confusion, and in severe cases, serious heart rhythm problems. Second warning: if you take any prescription medications, especially for heart conditions or high blood pressure, you absolutely must consult your doctor first. Baking soda can affect how your medications work. It can make some medications less effective, make others too strong, or create dangerous interactions that neither you nor your pharmacist might anticipate. Your doctor needs to know everything you're putting into your body, especially something that affects your body's chemistry as significantly as this does. Third warning, and this might be the most important one, this is not a cure. This is not a replacement for medical treatment. What I've shared with you today are supportive measures that work alongside proper healthcare, not instead of it. If you have serious health conditions, if you're experiencing severe symptoms, if something doesn't feel right in your body, you need to see a healthcare professional. Natural doesn't automatically mean safe, and simple doesn't automatically mean harmless. But here's what I want you to understand. Instead of seeing aging as this helpless, inevitable decline where you're just supposed to accept everything that goes wrong with your body, you now have knowledge about one natural tool that might support better aging. You're not powerless. You're not just along for whatever ride your body decides to take you on. The goal here isn't to replace modern medicine. Modern medicine saves lives every single day. The goal is to complement it with time-tested wisdom that our grandparents and great-grandparents understood instinctively. They didn't have access to all the pharmaceutical options we have today, so they had to rely on what worked naturally. And many of those natural approaches worked beautifully when used correctly and safely. If you're considering trying this for yourself or a loved one, please start slowly. Document any changes you notice, keep a simple journal noting how you feel, what symptoms improve or change, any side effects you experience. This isn't just for your own information, it's valuable information to share with your healthcare providers. Maintain open, honest communication with your doctors, your pharmacists, your healthcare team. The most loving thing you can do for yourself or someone you care about is to be informed and cautious. Don't hide what you're doing from your medical team. They're on your side, and they need complete information to take the best possible care of you. While baking soda water isn't a miracle cure that's going to solve every problem aging throws at you, it represents something incredibly powerful, taking an active, informed role in your health and aging process. It represents refusing to accept that feeling terrible is just part of getting older. Small, consistent actions often create meaningful improvements in quality of life. Not dramatic, overnight transformations that solve everything, but real, noticeable improvements in how you feel day to day. And sometimes, that's exactly what makes the difference between just surviving your golden years and actually enjoying them. You deserve to feel as good as possible in your own body, regardless of what your birth certificate says. You deserve to wake up with energy, to enjoy your meals without pain, to think clearly, to feel strong enough to do the things that bring you joy. And sometimes, the path to feeling better is simpler than we've been led to believe. Let me quickly recap what we've covered today because I want to make sure you have all the key information you need. We've explored 8 specific problems that baking soda water might help address when used correctly and safely. Number 1 was heartburn and acid reflux, that burning chest pain that steals the joy from family meals. Number 2, high blood pressure support through improved kidney function. Number 3, kidney health and UTI prevention by creating an environment where harmful bacteria can't thrive. Number 4 was joint pain and inflammation, helping to restore the alkaline balance that reduces inflammatory responses throughout your body. Number 5, chronic fatigue and energy depletion, helping your cells produce the energy currency they need to keep you feeling vital. Number 6, digestive issues and nutrient absorption, making sure your body can actually use the good nutrition you're providing it. Number 7, brain fog and cognitive clarity, supporting optimal brain function through proper pH balance. And number 8, overall immune system support, creating the right environment for your natural defenses to work effectively. Remember, proper preparation and dosage are absolutely crucial for both safety and effectiveness. This isn't something you want to experiment with or guess about. Here's my question for you, and I really want to hear from you because your voice matters in our community. Which of these 8 problems affects someone you care about? I want you to comment below with just the number, 1 through 8, that resonates most with your situation. Are you dealing with heartburn? Comment 1. Is it joint pain? Comment 4. Is it that crushing fatigue? Comment 5. Let's see which issues our community faces most, because your input directly helps me create more targeted, more helpful content for seniors and their families. When I know what you're struggling with, I can dive deeper into those specific topics, find more solutions, and bring you the information that will make the biggest difference in your daily life. Don't be shy about sharing. We're all here because we care about the same thing, helping the people we love feel better and live their best possible lives. Your comment might be exactly what someone else needs to see to know they're not alone in their struggle. If you found this information valuable, if it gave you hope, if it provided you with practical steps you can take starting today, I'd be honored if you'd consider subscribing to Elderly Health Central. We're not just another health channel throwing around medical jargon and unrealistic promises. We explore natural approaches to common senior health challenges, and we always emphasize safety and working hand in hand with healthcare providers. This isn't about replacing your doctor or dismissing modern medicine. It's about empowering you with knowledge about natural options that can work alongside traditional treatment to help you or your loved ones feel better. We believe that getting older doesn't have to mean accepting every ache, pain, and limitation that comes your way. When you subscribe, you're joining a community of people who refuse to give up on feeling good, who believe that seniors deserve to live their golden years with dignity, comfort, and vitality. Thank you so much for caring enough about senior health to stick with me until the very end of this video. That tells me everything I need to know about the kind of person you are, someone who doesn't give up, someone who keeps looking for answers, someone who believes that the people you love deserve better than just surviving their later years. Remember these 3 things as you move forward. Small steps lead to big results, always prioritize safety over quick fixes, and never stop advocating for yourself or the seniors you love. You have more power than you realize to influence how aging affects you or your family members. I'll see you in the next video, where we're going to explore another natural approach to supporting healthy aging. We'll dive into something that might surprise you: how proper hydration techniques can dramatically impact senior health in ways most people never consider. It's going to be eye-opening. Until then, stay informed, stay safe, and keep being the caring, proactive person who refuses to accept that aging has to mean suffering. The seniors in your life are lucky to have someone like you in their corner.